I think the good part about what I want to stress also is notching. You can millimeter, you can go up, 1 millimeter femur up first, take the anterior cut. If still is not notching, then come down again, go back. It's very easy for recuts.
So I think two other things. The recuts of your, say, distal femur or whatever, if you want to do a even slightest recut, you can do it. You won't be able to see that you've done a recut well unless it is 2 millimeter plus, because the blade is 2 millimeter thick, but you can do even 1 millimeter recut.
You can, yeah.
And very, very accurately and very quickly.
Yeah, we can. So that's why we can avoid notching by going 1 millimeter up. And then if required, we can go 1 millimeter down if required. So that's fair.
So let me ask you this now, before you start, is about what he mentioned, that some of the system, and the system that I've been using last 1 year is the CT scan based system. And I had a lot of apprehension that, CT scan based system, you still register and your accuracy is checked with the CT scan. Here you don't. And has that worried you at all?
No, I think the navigation experience was pretty good. So I'm quite confident it's 99% going to be good. The other part is the tissue, like whether the knee is lax in flexion or not, is loose or not, that cannot be assessed on CT scan. So that feel, along with the points and the numbers, all put together in your brain can make you a good surgeon to understand what's happening.
I think, and they have increased the number of points that you collect on the distal femur. Yeah. Also, you check now accuracy of your points taken at each point. Distal, medial lateral, posterior, medial lateral, and the front. And so that accuracy is changed. What is important here is that doing away with CT scan is great, but you want to maintain the same accuracy. And therefore, your registration needs to be accurate, and you must not bypass the step where you are checking the accuracy of your registration.
That's quite important. Okay, so the basic initially when you start well is you should be using in a patient who has got 90 degrees plus flexion, because the cut has to be in 90 degrees flexion easily. So that way you should have a good range of motion. But gradually you can do in all complex cases, and I tell you after so many cases is better in a more complex cases, because no jigs, no trouble, especially obese patient, just retractor and the saw goes in and you are getting done. So it's more easy with the complex cases rather than the standard cases. Yeah. So this is first 71-year-old severe varus and flexion deformity. You can see here now. That's quite bad with a poor range and all posterior osteophytes. You can see a rotational malalignment of the tibia and everything. It's quite a bad case. So we did with this. So this was 23 degrees varus on the left side and 16 on the right side. I do bilateral, standard bilateral simultaneously in 90% patients with a lot of flexion deformity and all those gap balancing. So here you have to adjust with the first tibia cut. Go tension, rotation of tibia, femur. Now with robotics, the rotation can go up to 8-9 degrees in such a complex deformity where there's a hardly medial opening. Don't worry about that, it's going to be fine. That sometimes takes a lot of heart to do that, but with navigation experience, you can still do it because it's going to be fine. So that's where it can be scary. And that's a post-op alignment. You can see 1 degree varus, 1 degree varus, 6 degrees. If you can see alignment close to the midline. And lateral opening on the flexion, 1 degree is really good because that gives a good feel of the patient for patient. So 1 degree lateral opening in flexion is a good thing, and overall things should be fine here. So something like that, which a bad case, can be done comfortably with robotics, same side. So that's one pre-op range of motion of that lady, and this is a post-op X-ray of this lady. I think yes, it is. This is a post-op X-ray of the same lady. You can see a perfect alignment, and every time you do a robotic knee, the femur fits extremely well in 99% patients. So that's where the post-op X-ray. Second case, range only 15 to 60 degrees, BMI 33. You can see there hardly there's a range here 60 or hardly less than 60 with a bad varus. But you expose the whole thing. Whatever you can do with a normal thing, you can do with the navigation, with robotics as well. So that's pre-op X-ray, intra-op 30 degrees varus, 6 degree of flexion, final gap balancing. You can see a close to midline there, extremely well, 2 degrees. I don't chase 2 degree varus. I think I accept 1 or 2 degree varus without trouble. Don't go after that. That's reasonably, you can say, a kinematic alignment to a certain extent. I don't go for that, but right side, 12 degrees varus, post-op 1 degree varus with a good alignment here. You can see all the gaps are pretty close to midline. So I think once you get those things with a bad knees, I think you get more and more confidence that you can do it well. I think just getting the things right with the robot is far easier than the other methods. That's the post-op X-ray of hers. So again, a good balancing. I use RP in 90% of my patients because once you get a good balancing, there's no reason to use a fixed bearing, and RP is the implant for me to go. Again, one patient, 58-year-old, bilateral instable arthritis. You can see a large osteophyte on the medial side with a lot of varus, and on the right side, left is equally bad, but not that bad varus. You can see a deformity on left side was not that bad, 5 degrees, 1 degrees. Post-op balancing is really good here. But if you see on the right knee, a 20 degrees of varus with 8 degrees of hyperextension. Now here, you have to balance your flexion gap with a flexion of the femur, then a distillation of the femur, approximation of the femur, all put together. Femur can be rotated in 360 degrees, in the sense all the angles possible. You can proximal, distal, medial, lateral rotation. So I think the minority of femur gives you so much of space that you hardly require a release in posterior side actually, if you do that. And see, the post-op is almost 1 degree, 1 degree, the balancing is perfect with close to alignment. So that's her post-op X-ray of hers, right and left. Now windswept deformity, varus and valgus together. Again 4 degree varus on the left side. We could achieve 0, 0 and all is fine. Here is perfectly okay. Now see the valgus, 15 degrees valgus, and we could get back to normal. With a tensioner, you don't have to do a lot of lateral release as such, because the rotation manages. Here sometime in a valgus knee, on a robot, you can see an internal rotation of femur to be done to get a balancing. Otherwise, the middle gap will start opening up in flexion. So, internal rotation of femur on a robotic surgery is something which you learn over a time. Okay, this is done, this is doable, and it doesn't cause any trouble. And that's the post-op alignment of her. And see the right and left post-op X-rays. Again, one more with severe flexion deformity of almost technically it was 35, 40 degrees. On the with the previous operated things, 26 on this one, we could get almost to 1 degree of valgus and 9 degrees of flexion with a perfectly balanced knees. And sorry, I didn't have the post-op, I just get a post-op X-ray. So the more and more deformity you can correct easily because of the maneuverability of femur and tibia. I think it's a great tool in all learned hands. Of course, as everyone said, the mind has to understand what is happening there. And planning. It takes 20 minutes to get overall 90% cuts done. You are done 90% of the surgery in 20 minutes with the robotics, with the VELIS. Thank you.